The Prophet. The Prophet is a poem that originated in Lebanon, which is written by Gibran Khalil Gibran, who is considered a genius of his age by millions of Arabic-speaking people who knew his writings. The Prophet is a book of 26 prose, which is about an expression of the deepest impulses of the human heart and mind. The main character is Al-Mustafa, who is described as the chosen and beloved, and as he returned to the isle of his birth, his soul cried out to them. As he entered the city, all the people come to meet him, and as he proceeded to the temple, he then met Al-Mitra, who is the one who proclaims him the prophet of God, and asks him to talk and explain a lot of things through his knowledge, including what love really is. Al-Mustafa is a young prophet that has lived in our palace for 12 years and is waiting for his ship that will take him home. But as he was loved by the townspeople, they then asked him to speak one more time and share his wisdom about love, marriage, children, and even death. Thus, the making of the prophet. Al-Mustafa's take on love, which is about love on life's term. Love, according to him, should not be catered on our ego's excessive need, but instead we should love more bravely, more honestly, and more deeply. We should love even if doing so hurt us or wound us, and even take us far beyond ourselves. This line shows that if you want to get the happiness out of love, you should give more and sacrifice things, even your innocence. You should be brave to see not only the positives, but also accept the imperfection of things around you. Because as you open your eyes and your mind to the reality around you, you realize the true meaning and the true beauty of the things around you. We have to fear God all through our lives and conduct ourselves in the right path so God will love us back. Having mercy and forgiveness for the mistakes of others is the practical act of love, and this is the true essence of life. Love is a thing that many people try to find and seek, but to really find it, you need to have the strength and the brave to find it, because a lot of people has already had it, but because it isn't as perfect as what we think of it, we tend to lose it and give up. We should see that love is not all about the giddy feelings, but it is also a road of up and downs with a lot of twists and turns. So you need to be patient. So you need to have the strength to fight for it through thick and thin and just continue following it as long as you have it. In life, we all have the choice in either we live and love in life's term or your own term. Many see love as soft, gentle, and flattering. But love is truth, and the uninitiated love can seem cold, blunt, and harsh. Love does not impose itself on anyone. It has patience and understanding to let people go through it, through their choices, and make their own experiences of it. In love, we want to believe that we know best, that we're in control, and that we're not lost. But to live and love on life's term is a more difficult and taxing thing that exhausts many fast. But if you go through it, it is a very rewarding, joyous and meaningful, and a way of living and orienting ourselves in the world. The poem to nature is a poem from India by Rabindranath Tagore. A foremost Bengali poet who is also a member of a famous family of artists, musicians, and reformers. To Nature was one of his famous works along with Gitanjali, Chitra, and Gora. The Nature is a poem that has a theme of love for nature. At the first part of this poem, we can see the sadness and the brokenness of the one who is talking in this poem. But through the poem, we can see how his feelings change, how he somehow heals through his adornment of nature. Nature for him is like a true love that many people seek and can't find. Through the poem, he points out the beauty of the nature and how the natures keep helping us as humans. In this poem, the character who is talking is someone who loves and adores nature so much. But as we look closer, we can see Tagore's perspective about nature and mankind on this poem. Somehow we can say that it is him who is talking in this poem. Tagore, as a natural lover of nature, loves making poems about it, showing his ideas and showing his messages to the people around him. This, I believe, are the most important lines in the poem, because in this line shows the emotion of the speaker, how sad he is and how broken he is. But as he searches for love, he then realizes where he can really find it, in the nature, and realizes the beauty of the nature and how much love the nature is willing to give us if only we'll give it a try. Nature provides human a lot of things for us to live. We just need to give more attention to it and appreciate the things it's giving to us, because as we do this, we will also seek happiness and love from it. The River Merchant's Wife, a Letter. The poem A River Merchant's Wife, the Letter is a poem that originated in China and was originally written by Lin Taipo, who is also known as Riyaku. It was later translated by Ezra Pound, one of the most greatest poet of his time. It was published in 1915 in Ezra Pound's collection, Katai, the Translations. The speaker of this poem is a very dedicated wife to his husband, who is a river merchant. Through the poem, we saw the sensitive personality of the wife, who has emotional needs like everyone else, and also her love and patience for her husband as she continuously waits for him whenever he was done for work. The River Merchant's Wife, a Letter is a poem that takes form of a letter from a lonely wife who hasn't seen his husband for 5 months. Through this letter, she recalls how she first met his husband through their childhood and how they got first married and eventually needed to separate because of his work. This poem serves as a communication as the husband is away and while she is patiently waiting for him to come back. This opening stanza of 6 lines is organized around the central image of River Merchant and his wife as a child, confirmed by the first component of the central image, the picture of a little girl with her hair cut in bangs. The mark of an adult woman in ancient Chinese culture was elaborate arrangement of uncut long hair. The second stanza places the girl and the boy, the I and the you, as woman and man in the adult world. In Asian cultures, and in some cultures today, early marriages are customary, and it is often also the custom for the wife to refer to her husband by a respectful title. In the case of this poem, the formality of the title is softened by the direct address of you, added right after it. It also established the child wife's shyness in this formal adult situation by offering a picture of her bent head and averted eyes. A shyness so extreme that she could not respond to her husband, no matter how many times efforts he made. This is a crucial stanza to the story of the poem because here, the wife confesses the depth of her love for her husband, and confesses the depth of her love to him. Because if she's cold at first, now she would like to have their dust mingle. In these simple images, the generalizing cliché, I love you always and forever, is communicated through the use of a specific image. In this stanza, we are brought into the present moment. This chapter of her life is now, the present telling of the tale. Here she says that she is now 16 years old. What she implies then is that she grew accustomed to their life as a married couple. The third line of this stanza is quiet and seems to be nothing more than description, but the tone here must be read in terms of the larger context. The man kiss, in a way, became a metaphor for the emotional state of the wife. These, I believe, are the lines that stand out the most, for the wife acknowledges the deep sorrow she feels because of her husband's absence, thus shows how big her love she has for her husband. That despite their distance, her love for him just grows bigger and bigger as the time passes. The love in this poem is like a river that constantly flows and changes, just as the relationship of the wife and her husband has evolved. Also, the river served as the physical barrier between the wife and the husband as he continuously travels to another village for his work. Their love is a perfect example of love conquers all, because in love, we should always fight for the one we love, and we should remember that no matter how far the distance between the two of you, there's always a way for you to reconnect. You just need to make an effort and sacrifices, and just continue believing with each other with love and trust.